With many Hollywood franchises, they've milked them dry, but when it comes to Tron, there's that feeling of untapped potential. So, does Tron Ares deliver? Now, one of the main stars of Tron Ares is Jared Leto, who plays Ares, and I think he plays the character well enough with that blank expression and that robotic feel to him, because he is a character that leaves the grid and enters the real world and gains that awareness about himself. However, Jared Leto is a big issue for the film because he's currently under allegations from 9 different women about misconduct, and also he's someone who is now associated with failure after Morbius. People see that face and think, yep, I'm going to avoid that. I'm not going to waste my money on that sort of film. And it's crazy how that one film, I know he's had other flops as well, but that film in particular where he is the lead has really damaged his image. And so I'll be interested to know like how many people have not decided to watch this film based on just him alone. Many times when I do my reviews, I like to look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores just to see if we can take anything from them. And here we definitely can, with 57% for the critics, whereas it's 87% for the audience, which is a big jump. Why is that the case? Well, for Tron has that real dedicated fan base behind it, where any Tron content coming out is going to get a bit of extra support because of the love for Tron. And Tron, the original film, really did a great job at building the world out, and then Tron Legacy did build on that and added some more of the story which was lacking from the original film. And I feel like with Tron Legacy, it is a bit of an underappreciated movie. I only watched both films recently for the first time leading up to this film because Tron was something that was just passing me by all my life until now. But I understand that with Tron Legacy, it's one where after Tron walked, Tron Legacy wasn't able to sprint exactly or get into a run, but was able to jog, and he felt like something was building here. And you think, okay, let's get into another film eventually, whenever that comes, and rebuild on those foundations that were built in Tron Legacy. Unfortunately, that's not the case with Tron Ares because the characters from Tron Legacy don't return. One of the new faces here is Eve Kim, played by Greta Lee, who you might know from last year's Past Lives. She is the CEO of Encom, and we learn early on that she did this role with her sister, who has passed away. So straight away we understand her state of mind and that she's still struggling with that grief. But as the film's main protagonist, she doesn't really leave much of an impact because that's all we really get from her in terms of that development. Like, the film goes on with the adventure, but she's sort of just there as a very weak lead, especially when she's with Jared Leto. Like, Jared Leto is that robotic Jesus sort of character. You want someone next to him in that sort of role that can add a bit of flavour, but she's pretty weak. Although I will say the film does have a strong start. As we learn about Eve Kim and Encom, we also learn about Dillinger Systems, and this company as well as Encom are both targeting the same thing, and that is the permanence code. Why do Dillinger Systems want it? Well, they want it for warfare, as they're currently testing bringing things from the grid into the real world, but the issue is they only last for 29 minutes. So to get this permanence code, that will remove that expiry time. And I think in terms of the Dillingers here, we have Julian Dillinger, played by Evan Peters, who does play that tech bro pretty well. And also we have Gillian Anderson playing his mother, who's not in the film enough. And that was a big complaint from me. Like, when you have Gillian Anderson, use her more than they do in this movie. After these two opposing sides are established, we then get some action scenes where Dillinger Systems hacks into Encom, and this is one of the best scenes in the film because we're seeing Julian Dillinger on his computer sending commands, and then we see Ares leading the assault, and yeah, it's just exactly what you want to see from a Tron film. This is what makes Tron special. And then another scene we have is a chase scene involving the bikes entering our real world. And I thought that was awesome, just seeing how these bikes were interacting with the grid system of the city. But the issue is, once Ares decides to go rogue, that's where the film really struggles to find its anchor, because he's doing that. His second in command, Athena, is after him, being commanded by Julian. And then we have Eve Kim not being a strong enough character with Ares. And so the film really just meanders a bit until we get to a sequence which is very nostalgia bait. And then after that, we have our final sequence, which at that point I'm just like, I'm not really bothered. You can win. These characters haven't been built up enough for me to care. So I got a bit bored once we got to those final action scenes. It was only the spectacular visuals and the music that kept me going. And so for Tron Ares, it does lack in its plot and for some of its characters, but this is where Tron fans can come in because they are very dedicated, and I think there is enough here for them to latch on to and hope that can be built in a future movie. The issue is with Tron, it's always the next film. It's always the next film that will be the film that really bursts Tron into life, because I said I'm new to Tron, and I feel like a lot of people don't know Tron because it's still quite a niche sort of franchise. Really, it hasn't really built into what it can be, and that's where I feel like Tron fans are always there trying to push it forward. From what I've seen anyway online, and so I think there is enough here for hope of a Tron 4 to happen, and maybe link in with Tron Legacy. Will we get that fourth Tron film? Well, I don't know. It feels like that this isn't enough hype around Tron.
Did anyone see the movie Tron?
No.
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 Yes. I mean, no. No.
Considering Tron Ares has a production budget of $180 million, a global opening of $60.5 million is not good news at all for Tron fans. This pretty much confirms that it's going to be a major flop already in the year of flops for Disney. So it's not great for the mouse at all. And Disney, I mean, I think a lot of people aren't going to support Tron because they don't like Disney and also Jared Leto. So there's that on top of it as well. But for Tron, it's such an amazing concept, but the execution is just not there, and it's really frustrating. I can understand the frustration from Tron fans. I think going forward, maybe animation is the way forward, because you can't really do like a small budget Tron film, can you? Really, because so much is behind, so much of it is behind the graphics and the effects, and that all costs a lot of money. So you can't really expect someone like A24 to grab the Tron rights and make loads of Tron movies. But really, that's what you'd want to see. Maybe get a small cast of some unknowns and build out the story. And I think with Tron, it's one of those where if it's good enough, it's like a party. The people are there; they will come to the party, and I think the Tron fans are loud enough to get people to be like, "Come over, we're having a great time here. We'd love to have you join us," sort of thing. But what are your thoughts on Tron Ares? Let me know down in the comments below. And in terms of ranking the Tron films, I'll go for Tron Ares at the bottom, then Tron Legacy. Also, that Daft Punk soundtrack for Tron Legacy was amazing. And like I said earlier, it's one of those films where after watching it, I was surprised to see how low those review scores were. So I think it is a underrated movie. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. And of course, if you want to watch another video, on screen is one that YouTube has recommended for you.